Morning all. How we doing? Sorry, a bit late this morning. I just made a boo-boo on my sentiment EA. I was just quickly checking it this morning. The new sentiment EA that I built to trade. And yesterday it banked, it closed all the orders out yesterday, everything. And I was just looking at it thinking, why did you do that? I don't get it. It's not meant to do that. It's not what I wanted. So basically, it's made $21 profit yesterday. As you can see, it closed out all the orders last night, which it's meant to do, but only if the orders are in profit. And I checked the code, and I basically, instead of saying if this symbol is in profit, close it, I said if the account total is in profit, close it. So basically what it's done is it's gone, every single one of your orders you had open yesterday combined at 10:30 last night was in profit. So I'll shut the lot for you. And so basically it's not a bad thing to do, is it really? So basically it's a portfolio close system rather than an individual trade close system, which is not what I wanted. I wanted an individual trade close system, which basically works on each individual instrument. But it's given me an idea for using both. So if an individual trade is in profit, like that one there, which has made $80, shut it. If the whole lot is in profit, shut the whole lot, basically, because our goal every day is to make money, isn't it? So if you get to 10:30 and your entire portfolio of trades is in profit, you're done. So might have a look at that as an option of using both. But anyway, so yeah, there you go. So it did exactly what it said on the tin. It worked absolutely perfectly. However, it didn't do exactly what I wanted it to do. So there we go. Anyway, so sorry, that's why I was late, because I was messing about with that. What's oil doing this morning? Going up, good. Right, how is everybody? Morning, Peter, JC, Cyril, Alex, Michael, Johan, Dallas, Edward, Virginia. Morning from Australia. Afternoon there, isn't it? Right, so we've had some news this morning. Two news items this morning. CPI for the New Zealand dollar came out overnight as expected. So I've got a Euro New Zealand trade that got on yesterday. I don't know if anybody else got on this one, but it was an RSI extension entry yesterday. I took this one in the live room yesterday afternoon, if you were here. So straight in, straight out, 125 ADR Euro New Zealand out of that one. So if we look at the New Zealand pairs, overall we had a massive whipsaw on the news there. So we had a big push down and then pushed back up again. And we are rallying so far off the back of that. So somebody asked in the Telegram group, I think it was, or Discord, one or the other, about the Aussie New Zealand. Should it carry on doing what it's doing? So if you look at the Aussie New Zealand, last time we had the New Zealand dollar rate announcement coming out as expected, we got a massive negative reaction on the New Zealand dollar. This time we had the rate announcement coming out as expected. We got a positive reaction on the New Zealand dollar. So totally the opposite of what we got on the previous rate announcement. So because that announcement this morning on the CPI figures is as expected, typically what happens with an as expected news result is you get a continuation in current trend. So current trend is obviously down on Aussie New Zealand, that is. So it's bullish New Zealand dollar, which is the last interest rate change. So you would expect that to carry on. So we've broken the lows there. So we'll see what happens today. If we hold below the lows after the initial news event today, I suspect we will carry on just bullish New Zealand for a short period of time, which is great because I'm very close to my average, which is 225 ADR. So if I can get another couple of ADRs worth of movement out of this, that'd be great, and it'll undo this. So this is kind of what I was expecting, the unwinding of this position. So it's good that that figure's come out to help it. But we'll see what happens. So that's your New Zealand dollar. Bullish move off the back of that because of inflation hitting the target they were expecting. However, that's not what's happened with the pound this morning. So the annual CPI inflation figure for the pound has gone up to 3.2 on a forecast of 3.1. So this is positive pound because inflation has come down, which means we can drop interest rates. However, it didn't come down quite as far as the monthly and the quarterly forecasts were expecting. So it is a slight uptick, which is bullish pound. So it means that there's more likelihood of them potentially getting a bounce in inflation, as we've just seen with the US and with Canada. Sorry, not with Canada, with the US. We didn't get it with Canada, did we? It dropped. It didn't drop. It bounced. So it did actually bounce. It just didn't bounce as far as they thought it was. So, everything is bouncing basically CPI-wise, which isn't good. But anyway. So it's good news for the pound, which means we can drop it. However, short term, it's gone up a little bit more than we anticipated it was going to. So fundamentals on the pound are we're at 5.25. Inflation is at 3.4. Now at 3.2. Hasn't updated yet, is it? Yeah, hasn't updated yet. Refresh that. Updates every hour. So there we go. Updated. 3.2. So basically it's kind of a similar story to what we're seeing across the world at the moment. Inflation is very stubborn. We're getting stuck on it, and it's starting to bounce a little bit more than anticipated. So upshot of that today for the pound is bullish, but it is a knee-jerk reaction to that number. It is bearish overall because inflation is coming down, which means we will be dropping that interest rate. It's a long way to go yet. So we're forecasting June, July time initially for the euro to start dropping. Pound won't go at the same time. It will go shortly after. So maybe July, August. So we'll see what happens basically. So pound odd, as you can see, we've had a little bit of a spike up there. Pound CAD, nice good spike there because obviously the Canadian dollar's weakened. Swissy, big spike up, 50% retracement on that. Pound yen just spiked up into the highs. Pound New Zealand spiked up, dropped back down again. Pound US spiked up nicely. So it's short-term bullish. However, I don't think it will hold. I think this will undo itself because this is overall long-term bearish. So we'll see how we get on today, but I wouldn't read too much into that being green, meaning you should buy it. It is inflation dropping. So look at the previous number and look at where we are. It's coming down. It's bearish. Excuse me, frog in my throat. So last night we had all the talking heads as well. So this was a fireside talk, which didn't really do a lot. It's like sit around, have a chat type thing. So we didn't get an awful lot overnight news-wise. Oh, some more Japan news. Yeah, we'll have a look at that in a minute. So if you look back at yesterday, there we are. So this is where Powell, Bailey, and that lot were all talking yesterday. So this is 6 o'clock, 6:15 sort of time yesterday. There wasn't anything particularly exciting that came out of this at all yesterday. Nothing much really to write home about. Powell said the recent data shows a lack of further progress on inflation. We know that, Powell. You've just confirmed what you already know and we already know because we've had the figures. So nothing really impacted there. We had a bit of a spike, knee-jerk reaction as you get. Let policy do its further work. So it's the same old stuff. It's waffle, waffle, waffle. No real information there. Futures rate reduced the expectations on Fed cut. So they're thinking obviously just pushing it back because the data's not good for the US. So long term, medium term, slightly bullish US maybe. But other than that, overnight we haven't had an awful lot. There's your New Zealand dollar news. We had the Japanese trade balances coming out. This morning, we had the CPI, obviously, which is there. So we've had that knee-jerk reaction to the pound, which is down. So that is bearish, pretty bearish for the pound. Rate futures show investors now fully pricing in the first bank of rate cut in November versus September. Okay, so they're now saying November. Right, okay, so they're pushing the rate cut back to November. So September was a forecast. When did they say that? No one's ever told me that. I have not seen that. I didn't realize it was September. I thought it was more like July, August, but September apparently. So pushing it back 2 months. I think that's a little bit of an over-exaggeration. Inflation has come down. Yeah, it's going the right way, which means we cut rates. Yeah, just because it's gone up 0.1, it's still come down 0.2, which is positive. So not sure about that. We'll have to wait and see what the pound does, but that would indicate bullish pound, but I don't see that. Anyway, right, so Japan. So let's look at the yen this morning. New Zealand dollar CAD 125 ADR. We'll look at ADRs in a minute. There's a lot of ADRs today, mainly off the New Zealand dollar. So US dollar yen. Yesterday, we were on stream yesterday afternoon when this hit, which I got all excited about. I was just about to leave the stream and we got a massive spike on the yen. And it was like, it was basically an ADR. As you can see, it was 100% of ADR move. So it looked like we could be starting some kind of rally, but basically all it was a profit take on that leg. So they just basically took profit on that move and then piled back in. So we didn't manage to break the highs yesterday, which is good. So this was just a profit take move. Today we are starting bearish. So the yen is a little bit stronger this morning. You look across the board, New Zealand dollar yen is going to skew it because New Zealand dollar is rallying at the moment. So is the pound, obviously, off the back of the news. So we have to look at other stuff like euro. So slight bit of strength coming in this morning on the yen. Nothing particularly dramatic. So it's not moving in a negative way at the moment. So we've just had Hayashi come out. No comment on policies related to Forex, closely watching the moves. It's important currencies move, stable, blah, blah, blah. Exactly the same thing. You might as well just press the copy paste button every morning. This is what we get. Closely watching FX moves, prepare for full measures. We will press the button if you push us further. We've been saying this for 2 weeks. We're not going to do it, but we'll keep saying it. Basically, that's all we get at the moment from Japan. Idiots. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I've still got my positions on. I will be getting out if it rallies. I'm looking at 155 is my line in the sand. If it breaks that and breaches that 155 level and holds, I'm just going to close and go, walk away and go, screw you, you've ruined my month. Nothing I can do about it because they're just not doing what they say. So we've got a nice positive move there. Today's news... we've got nothing at all of any interest today. We've got Bailey speaking later this evening. I'm sure there'll be comments on the CPI number and maybe forecasts as to interest rates. So that might move the market. But there's nothing for the US dollar today at all. There's no other news all day. So we've had it. So today basically will be just either continuations on moves that we've got going at the moment or this, which is what we get. Yeah, we get this. Because there's no news, we just do this. So it'll push down, it will sit around and do nothing, it'll push up for a bit, sit around and do nothing. That's all we're getting at the minute. So I wouldn't expect massive movement on anything apart from these New Zealand dollar and potentially pound today. But that's kind of, in my opinion, that's a mixed bag, that news on the pound today, because, yeah, it's come down. So inflation coming down is bearish for the pound. Not quite hitting target is bullish for the pound. So what does it do? Cancel itself out. It's not really news, is it? Yeah, it's all going in the direction we wanted it to. Yes, we know you're going to drop the interest rates. No, you haven't told us when you're going to do it. Hopefully, Bailey may well come out this evening and go, right, because that's done this, this is more likely to happen. But we haven't had that confirmation. So I don't think you'll get a massive move off the pound today, but we'll see. So it's all about New Zealand dollar today because they have had an as expected result, which should be a continuation in strength. Lovely pullback. It's a 71 retracement. So yeah, good sort of springboard for next leg up, basically, on that. But obviously, we're 125 ADR today, so it's going to struggle, I think, to get an awful lot further, but we'll see. So that's your news, really. There's nothing much else at all happening today. It's a very flat day for news. It's Wednesday. It's middle of the week. We might get some reversals start to kick in, some profit taking on any week's movement that we've had, yen specifically. And tomorrow morning, early, we've got the unemployment rates. So Aussie dollar unemployment rate tomorrow morning is going to be key. They're forecasting unemployment to go up, which will be bearish for the Australian dollar, which will be fantastic. So if, as far as I'm concerned, that number can come out at 4.1. I'd love that because that would drive that Aussie down. I'm sure Aussie, New Zealand. New Zealand's rallying at the moment. If the Aussie can do the opposite, job done. I'm out of all of it tomorrow. Fantastic. So hopefully that forecast comes to fruition and we do have unemployment going up. Sorry if you're in Australia. Don't want to wish your jobs away, but I need you to short. Just for a bit, then you can all get employed again. And then tomorrow afternoon, we've got the unemployment claims. So I'll be streaming for that tomorrow afternoon. I'll be on at 1:15. But today, that's it pretty much for news. Now, the other thing we've got to worry about today is Lagarde at 7 o'clock this evening. So Lagarde yesterday, or rather the ECB yesterday, who was it? Vilroy. I'm sure Lagarde said something yesterday, did she not? Maybe it was just Vilroy. Might have been. Yeah. So there is a potential upside risk for the euro in unemployment, and not so much unemployment, but in wages. So wages going up. We don't follow the wage index very closely in fundamentals, but wages do affect inflation because when wages go up, and at the moment we've got this massive spate of everybody wanting a pay rise, specifically in the UK, but it is happening around the world. When wages go up, what it does is it means that businesses get put under pressure. It's their largest outgoing. So when you have wage pressure increase, what that does is it forces businesses to push prices up, which causes inflation, which stops those interest rate drops. So there is an upside pressure that they were talking about yesterday in the ECB, and they were actually talking about it for the pound this morning as well, in that there may be a slight problem if wages continue to rise, that they won't be able to get inflation under control in Europe. So we've got Lagarde speaking later. I would imagine she'll probably touch on that a little bit later on. So that might send a little bit of a bearish stance into the euro a bit later. But apart from that, that's it for news basically today. So we'll have a look at the ADRs, RSIs and everything. But kind of business as usual, really. Euro should be starting to continue to drop, which isn't good for my euro US dollar. But US dollar's dropping harder, which is even better. So we'll look through these. We'll look through the RSIs and then kind of any other business. So morning, everybody else I haven't said morning to. Johannes, it's time. Chucks, Franco, Amy, morning. Right, so ADRs. We've got quite a few weeklies as well. We'll whiz through the ADRs first because they're all Aussie. Most of these are, New Zealand based. Then we'll look at what we've hit weekly. So we're on Wednesday, middle of the week. We've already hit weekly ranges on some instruments, so there is chances for mean reversions on those. Aussie, New Zealand, obviously, that's come down fairly hard. We had a whacking great spike on that this morning. Huge spike all the way up to there. So we basically did 150 ADR in kind of 10 minutes. But is bearish. There's a hell of a lot of wicks going on at the moment, so there's an awful lot of volatility in this one. There always is in New Zealand pairs, but we're 150 ADR. So the forecast is obviously, the current movement is market structure bearish. So we would expect this to continue now based on the news that we've had this morning, the CPI numbers. So looking for that to continue to drop. However, we are at 150 ADR, so it is fairly exhausted. A lot of volume come through it today, so it might just sit around. In fact, it's more likely to sit around and do this and recover for a day. but we will see. So tomorrow morning, we've got those unemployment numbers for the Aussies. So if the unemployment rate goes up, this will continue to drop tomorrow as well. So we could well easily see 100% ADR plus on this tomorrow morning. So the market might want to hang around, and it probably will hang around the rest of the day and wait for those numbers to come through tomorrow. But there is a mean reversion opportunity if you wanted to take it. But I would be very careful. You know, it's kind of a 1 minute trade where you want to be in tight and out. It's kind of a scalpy type stop loss trade. Other than that, I wouldn't want to long this at the minute. Euro pound is also extended. Actually, let's do the New Zealand's first. So Euro New Zealand is extended. That was the ADR extension from yesterday that I got into and out. So I took that one yesterday because of the double top bounce. So if you remember, if you were in here yesterday afternoon, I said this is a lovely looking short. So I took this manually. It was extended on RSI. We had divergence on RSI. We had a double top weekly and monthly high extension. So shorted it straight in, straight out, looking for a 50% retracement. Textbook, straight into propulsion. Absolute textbook trade. Wish they were like that every day. So that's extended to the downside. Euro is bearish. New Zealand is bullish. You're going to find it quite hard, I think, for this to get too much distance back up today. But watch that propulsion gap, really. I would expect this now to start to shift down. You can obviously see there's a reversal alert gone in. So not the best long opportunity. Pound New Zealand, very much the same. The pound, obviously, we've just had news on this morning. So there is a chance the pound might strengthen today. So this one's probably the better extension to take. You've kind of missed it, though. And the reversal alert came in 7:30. So you'd have had to have got in on that reversal alert just before the news, obviously. And the news has driven it there. But you can see that's the news spike. We had a little rally and we've dropped. We're pushing again now. So there is a chance that this will push back up again, but that New Zealand is probably going to remain strong. So this is kind of a strong currency against a strong currency, which means it's going to be hard to make any progress in either direction. So probably not going to go very far. New Zealand dollar CAD extended to the upside. Reversal literally just going in now. Is this Canadian dollar strength? This looks like weakness coming in on the Aussie. No, this is weakness on the New Zealand dollar. It's just New Zealand dollar just having a little bit of a profit take move at the moment. So New Zealand dollar CAD is you're going to get a reversal alert on that literally in the next 15 seconds. That's just about to give you a reversal there. So potentially quick short, but as I say, I think this is probably going to remain long New Zealand dollar. So I wouldn't want to get too excited on it. Go for sort of a quarter ADR, half an ADR. There's your reversal alert, literally just gone in there. So bears are in control. Look for a push down. Watch that area there. Watch obviously this move, which was the news. If you want to take that one, but not the best in the world. Same as New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Just got you're not going to get a reversal alert on that anyway. Too far away. So you'd have to get in there on that price action. Running into support on that propulsion gap. So it could well just bounce or get stuck in there. So not the best in the world, the New Zealand's to take today. The only other ADR extension we've got is Euro Pound. So that's 125 ADR today. And obviously the pound, we've just taken out these lows and pushing back up into there. So this could well just do that. So I'm not convinced this pound move is a move today. As I said, so we are down at the lows as well. Look again. So this thing's been range bound, as we know, for pretty much the entire year. We're down at these lows, which we've bought once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 times now. If this is number 7, that's your kind of wick off spring. So this is them finding liquidity at the lows and then just driving it back up again, back up into that area there. So got a fallback down here of double monthly bottom at 200 ADR. So if you're getting long here and it doesn't work out, you probably take a couple of positions then get out on the bounce off of the monthly lows. However, euro is bearish now. We've got confirmation. Well, we have sort of got confirmation. June is probably going to be the rate. It's more likely than not, which means that they are going to be dropping rates faster than everybody else, which means the euro will devalue faster than everything else. The pound, if that is to be believed, what we've seen this morning, that they're pushing the rate announcement back to November, or rather the futures are forecasting that to happen, that will be ever so slightly bullish or neutral for the pound. So the stance on this would be bearish euro, neutral to slightly bullish pound, which means it's a short. So there is a chance it could break out of that low, but it'll probably come down quite bouncy because these guys tend to move in sync, as you can see. Yeah. So it's not a bad long, but it's not the best in the world, I don't think. So those are your ADRs. There's nothing particularly exciting on those today because they're all caused by news pretty much. Your weeklies, Aussie dollar Swiss weekly range. So if we look at Monday, there's Monday. So we hit the weekly range on this one yesterday. So that's pushed down 95 pips. 89 is ADR, is AWR, weekly range. So there's a potential for that one to bounce. Looks like it's just starting to, and you'd look to come up into that propulsion gap. And obviously if it's going to continue like that, bear in mind this tomorrow morning you've got, or rather overnight, you've got Aussie dollar unemployment claims. So if you get into this today and it just decides to go into accumulation, you're at the will of the news tomorrow, and that could go either way, obviously. So just bear that in mind. Swiss yen, we know all these yens are stretched to hell. So Swiss yen weekly range hit again. Yen getting a little bit more weakness coming in. Obviously, we're still bearish on this one at the moment because of the Swiss franc interest rate change. But yeah, Swiss should be bearish moving forward unless the war breaks out, in which case it's going to go through the roof. Yen, don't say anything on the yen, do I? Basically, we're waiting for them to press the button, and they're not pressing it. So it's a good short. Everything, as far as I'm concerned, everything against the yen is still a good short. Yeah, just on the back of an intervention move. I can't look at anything else but intervention because they keep saying they're going to do it. Well, they keep indicating that they're watching, and every time they've said this, they're going to do it. Yeah, prepared for full measures. Nuke button on the Forex market. Press the bloody thing. Stop talking about it. You said you were going to press it weeks ago. Anyway, Swiss yen, short. Euro odd. That's a nice extension there. You've missed that one already, look. So that hit your weekly range. Beautiful 3-bar reversal there, look. Absolute textbook 3-bar reversal. Push, pause, pull, short. Lovely. So nice short opportunity there on the euro odd, although you would have really got into that one yesterday. So you'd have got in up here. Reversal alert. You're in profit. We've also got Euro New Zealand, pretty much the same trade. That's already played out. That's one I got into yesterday. Yeah, that's the other reason I got into that one, because it was absolute textbook. When I talk about the in one of the videos on the website what a system or what a strategy is. And all the different moving parts in every system strategy's got to have 5 moving parts. Confluence is part of that, and this is a prime example of confluence. You've got a weekly range hit at a double top weekly level just before a monthly level, yeah, and a 3-bar reversal. What do you need? Everything in the market is telling you to go short. Oh, and also you've got bearish divergence. Everything, absolutely everything. If you want a perfect trade lined up, it's weekly resistance, monthly resistance, divergence, reversal alert, weekly range extension, 3-bar reversal. Yeah, confluence, multiple things lining up at the same time to sell you the same thing. So that wasn't 3-bar reversal. That was the other one, wasn't it? But anyway, you know what I mean. So everything lined up, basically, all the ducks lined up. So that one, you've already missed it. Pound odd. So weekly range hit on that one as well. Started to pull back. So we've had a reverse alert on it. So we're looking for this to be the retest in this propulsion gap. So there's your reversal. Looking for the retest and the add. There, pound odd. Pound yen, we know about the yens, obviously all extended. So that one did its weekly range yesterday, but I mean, it was pretty much did its weekly range on Monday. So we'll, same with all the yens. I can't press that button. Well, they're threatening to do that. So yeah, sure. For me, pound New Zealand also extended. Obviously, that one's already played out as well. So you missed that one. That was an entry yesterday. And New Zealand dollar Swiss. So again, nice opportunity for longs on that one. Weekly range. These weekly ranges seem absolutely tiny at the moment because the ADRs are so tiny. But yeah, that is the weekly range hit. That one hit this morning, actually, I think. So it was 82. Yeah, 86. So this wick we got on the news is what's caused that. So you wouldn't have got into that. You haven't had a chance to get into it. But if you wanted to take that and a push up into propulsion, that's probably the trade to take on that one. New Zealand should rally, assuming we don't have war kicking off in the Middle East, in which case the Swiss franc is going to rally. If the Swiss franc rallies, the New Zealand's not going to be able to beat it. So that will come down hard. So those are your weeklies and ADRs. RSIs, there's nothing on the hourlies today. We're flat. We didn't have a lot yesterday. There was a few lit up, that Euro New Zealand being one, which obviously has played out nicely. So there's nothing to look at there. The only extensions we've got on the 4 hours are pretty much what we've been looking at constantly, which is the Aussie dollar Swiss for the last week. Yeah, so looking for a push back up on that one. We were looking for a push back from there. We got a little bit of a bounce on Monday, but that entire leg, I think, has got an option to do that. The problem with this one, obviously, is the unemployment coming out tomorrow, and obviously the Swiss franc is a little bit volatile off of the back of the Middle East conflict. So, but if market structure is going to do its thing and we're going to continue this trend, this is where you would look to buy from. So it's a good looking opportunity. Aussie dollar, US dollar extended to the downside. Waiting to see if this US dollar move undoes itself. Market really overreacting to the CPI number. Well, not necessarily overreacting. I mean, they're reacting correctly, but very big reaction. So I would expect some of this to get unwound. This is the area that you want to watch. Yeah, so we broke through, we retested it, confirmed that this is a break. So we're going to go into a range. That's where you'll probably find your range high. However, if Powell at any point talks that interest rate change down, which he had an opportunity to do yesterday but didn't, you'll find yourself back up here. So it does look like they are going to put the rates back, which is obviously not bullish, but it's not anywhere near as bearish as we have been on it. So it appears bullish. So possibility of that sort of move, but also the possibility of literally just doing that or putting in a flag break as we've had here, and just continuing that run down, which is going to take a hell of a lot of buying in the US. We're going to need some positive US news to make that move happen, which is unemployment claims on Thursday. That's the next US news we've got. So tomorrow afternoon, potential for that. Swiss yen extended, we know. And US dollar yen extended, we know. And US dollar CAD also now, it's been extended for the last sort of 4 or 5 days. Embedded. Yeah, so again, bearish divergence. So the question is, are we going to get any weakness on this US dollar? So if that does start to tumble over, you'll probably find it's fairly quick. We should be looking for sort of 61.8, 50% retracements back down. It's certainly stalled out at the moment. But no news until tomorrow afternoon. So today, I think you'll probably find we just kind of amble, but we will see. So those are your RSI extensions. US dollar Swiss is coming down nicely at the moment. Or rather, I should say it's stopped going up. Again, same thing, you know, it's this. Nothingness. Anyway, we'll see what happens. So, yeah, there's your RSIs. So nothing particularly exciting to look at there again today. So this market at the moment is just painful, absolutely painful. Very difficult to do anything with it. Oil's dropping again. This is my speculative oil trade. Basically, I'm just playing these lows here, anticipating this level holding and something kicking off in the Middle East. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Not a lot I can do about it, but it's holding at the moment, so we'll see. Not particularly keen on that move, though. Yeah, oil, if it all kicks off in the Middle East, goodbye at the moment. So one to watch. Morning, everybody else. Neo, Gina. That's all I've got for you this morning. There's not a lot else to look at. As I say, it's a no news day today. So we've had the news overnight, and it wasn't particularly impactful. So the continuation on the New Zealand dollar, potential short-term strength on the pound, but other than that, not a lot else really. And obviously waiting still for that either move on, no move on Japan, which they're not talking about. Navy to escort Iranian commercial ships in the Red Sea. Iran commercial ships are being escorted. Right. Okay. So Iran just protecting their fleets basically against potential Israeli kidnapping. So it's still bubbling, isn't it? But Israel have come out and said yesterday that they will hit back at Iran, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be a all missiles firing type hit back. It's going to be more of a covert style hit or under the radar type hit. So I'm not sure we are going to get an escalation. I think he's probably been talked down a little bit by the West, basically. So we'll see. But if my oil trade is to play out, we need escalation. So in the same way as if my yen trade is to play out, we need the Japanese to wake up. Looked like they were waking up this morning. Now it looks like they've gone back to sleep again. What can you do? Anybody got any other pairs they want to look at or anything else they want to discuss? Let me know. Other than that, there's not a lot else to talk about today. Because we're waiting on news again. The sentiment EA, or the sentiment strategy, I should say, really. Is the CAD yen 100? That can't be right. Can't be 100, surely. $71.29. Why is that not reading correctly? Houston, we have a problem. Aussie New Zealand's not reading correctly either. Oh. I found a bug. Sentiment isn't updating daily. Why is it only doing it on some and not others? This is weird. Sorry, let me just check this. Aussie US dollar CAD 89.11. 93.7. That's not updating, is it? Oh, goody. I seem to have found a bug. Right, back to the drawing board on that one then. Need to figure out why that's not updating. Need to put some logging on that. 69.31 US dollar yen. 83.17. Yeah, that's not putting in right. Something's gone wrong. Anyway, I'll look at that this morning. It was fine yesterday. What have I broken? Obviously got some overnight logic that's not working. Although it did take a trade this morning. I wonder if it's just the numbers that I'm updating. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. Talk amongst yourselves. Right, I'll leave it there. I'll go and figure out what that's doing. Anything else you need, let me know in Telegram or Discord. But there's nothing else much to talk about today. We've covered everything that's important today. Tomorrow, I'll be on at 1:15 in the afternoon because we've got the US dollar unemployment claims. So overnight, you need to worry about the Aussie dollar unemployment rate. And then we'll watch what happens with the unemployment claims tomorrow. We're looking for any reason for numbers to come out negative to drive this US dollar profit take move back down, basically. So that's tomorrow's US dollar. After that, that's it. We're out of news for the week. Retail sales probably won't do an awful lot. So that's it pretty much. So the overnight news tonight and tomorrow afternoon's news is it for the week. So it's a very light news week this week. We got PMI week next week. We got more CPIs. So we've got obviously the yen rate as well next week. Now that could be that will be a big one. But we've got the rate announcement for the yen next week. So are they going to go up to a 0.1 positive interest rates? So next week's going to be a critical one for that yen. So I'm wondering if this is why we're not getting the intervention. Maybe they're waiting to try and use this to control the currency, which is what everybody else does. We all use interest rates and inflation figures to control currency strength. Maybe the Bank of Japan are now hedging their bets on this being what now moves the market. Maybe they're not going to press that button. In which case, if that is the case, they need to put that interest rate up next week. Otherwise, they're just going to devalue further. And if that doesn't work, they will have no choice. So hopefully we're not going to be sitting around waiting till next Friday, but that could be it, couldn't it? We'll see. All right, so anybody needs anything, let me know in Telegram or Discord. Other than that, I will be back tomorrow afternoon. So have a good day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.